Here comes an old peace activist. Let's see, Trump gonna come hold his Bible upside down right there. That's the Adams House. That's who invented the trade for lobbyists. So take your mask off, bro. So I'm going old school today, Craig.
Yes, sir.
I'm just walking back and forth like they did in the old days. So I'm going old school with the peace thing. This is how we did it in the 60s. Right here. Vietnam. Went out to Vietnam to kill the Viet Cong. They're still there, ammo gone. Went out to Afghanistan to kill the Taliban. Went out to Iraq to do a big old fat. How nice the men life. What's Fukushima? Fukushima. So I'm going old school. This is how we did it in the 60s. So I'm going to peace vigil across the street. Get away from the fake activists. The Johnny come lately, feel good fairy tales. Going old school. I'm going back to our roots. So I wanted to talk about this. Protect democracy. These people need to get through this through their head. The fairy tale of American democracy. This has never been a democracy. It's a republic. There's a big difference. This is a constitutional republic government from 1776 to forward, from the day the Declaration of Independence was signed. So what does that mean? Thus, the Electoral College. If it was a democracy, it would be popular vote, wouldn't it? So, but we have the ability to amend the Constitution, but this divided the government. So, what happened to the Constitution? Well, remember the Patriot Act was temporary? Remember NSA was temporary? You remember all those acts were supposed to be just for a little while? You know, to block those terrorists? You know, so the Patriot Act is shredded because without the fourth pillar, we have nothing. I stood right there on my speech and said, without the fourth pillar, we have nothing. 7 years ago. And so, I was dying of cancer. I'm still here. You know, so the fight is the life. But this is the crazy thing. Everybody's amped up about this election. This was a disastrous election for the left. Absolute disaster. The right should be dancing in the streets. This 23 seats ready to be plucked off. It was the statistical probability of the Democrats taking back the Senate was 99%. Did it happen? Nope. By the way, Hillary has more popular votes, margin of popular vote win than he has.
Can I ask a personal question?
Sure.
That skunk stripe tail beard,
Yeah.
see that you've got? What's the significance? What does that
Well,
mean?
it's still growing back. It's my professor. It's my wisdom beard. So in Europe, when you're teaching, University of Vienna, whatnot, they, in the old days, used to have a wisdom beard. So a wisdom beard is the long white beard that grows here, just a little white beard, and it's called a wisdom beard. And they just don't grow. I mean, not everybody can grow one, and they don't grow when you're young. So I shaved it off recently. Remember, I had it down here about that long, just my little wisdom beard. So I'm growing back my wisdom beard so I can go back to teaching. You know, so that's what comes with age, brother.
Yes,
Like wisdom does. Where's our elders? You know, we're supposed to lead these youth.
We're
not-
supposed to leave the country and the world better. We're not doing it. We're not going to do that.
Really, this is probably the worst generation guilty of that.
The third of the million.
Yeah, the Fukushima disaster is paramount. And so I'm going old school, Craig. I've had it with this blaring music, fighting with each other. And by the way, this is important for right here. This is the public square. They've been selling it off. I don't care if you disagree with another activist. Doesn't matter. The one thing that we still do have in this country, and Black Lives Matter, the Million Mass March, you know, what was the right-wing one that put in got the Congress in 22? Oh, the Teabaggers, the Tea Party. So all these different groups, street activists, it don't matter if you just even clear down to crazy QAnon.
One thing
They have their right.
I'm really interested in discussing with you, Kevin. I don't know if it's apropos, but Code Pink is beating the vigil because the women are united in the huddle. Right? We don't have enough
Code Pink.
women. Yeah,
Well,
Code Pink.
so Benji, who I'm friends with, Miss Benjamin was right here the other day. And I don't go bother, hey, we get a picture, you know, because I always tell her, she says, God, I should be asking you, Kev. If you want to talk Code Pink, you go talk to her. She was here. She was
Medea
standing right
Benjamin,
there.
I know personally, she's a friend on Facebook.
She's a fan. She's the shit.
She's the shit.
And so she was right here the other day. She's about, I mean, what is she, about 3'2"? Anyway, she's a firecracker, but she was here. You know, I talked to her. Hi, Kev, you know, and so.
But I mean, like, they're going to the Senate buildings, they're going
Yes.
to the court cases.
I used to do it with them. You know, I still do it. How many times, Google, how many times have I been in Senate freaking, you know, at the local level? I'm in the California House all the time. I'm in the Utah one constantly. I'm in the Idaho House. I've been in the Ohio House. I've been in the New York House blocking these bank bailouts. I do all that. I mean, I'm the legislator.
But
Go
you're
talk
a
to him in
one-man
Utah.
band.
It's sadly I am.
You're a one-man band, and that's
With
not
no
right.
money. So, you know, it's David versus Goliath, Kevin Blanch. You know, I mean, I take on teams of attorneys on energy solutions, on the nuclear energy bailout, status quo Como. I take on teams of attorneys in Utah, in Idaho. I've taken on NewScale.
How do we get the huddle lined up?
That's it. You know what the problem is? The PR firms, the nuclear PR firms, I have a lot of them. They always slander me and they turn on me, but I don't know. I just keep doing my work, and hopefully, you know, I do my work and they'll come. By the way, right here, right where we're standing, Craig, several universities came intentionally just to interview me and use for their curriculum, including George Washington around the corner. They're graduate students, and they had all the right questions. Hour-long interview I did with them right here for their curriculum. There's some young intellectuals, you know, college students that are getting environmental. They're all over this Fukushima and this anti-nuclear. Vice's one came seeking me out, and she's going to do an hour documentary on the cover of Fukushima, Kevin Blanch's activist. So hopefully, and these interviews that I got here this week, I mean, I was on the front page, I was on the lead story on French Public Radio. What's his name, stopped me up there last night. He says, here's the article. You're on the front page of the Netherlands' #1 paper today.
So you get to Italy once a year?
To Austria. Yeah, I go to Austria at least once a year. Try to, or every 2 years. I can't get in right now. You know, so I have the Blanch box, like you guys have, in front of the IAEA at the UN. I do my work there, you know, and you know we have Global 2000 there. They're funded. They do what we do, but they're funded by the government in Austria. They're anti-nuclear activists.
I gotta get back to
All right. Thanks, Craig. It's important to this vigil because somebody has to do the night shift and talk about do the dirty work. That's him. So this is important. Like I said, I'm going old school. You know, got to stay out of the fray. But again, to the individual activists, you cannot crowd their space. This is the First Amendment. They have every right. I mean, there's some chick shows up here in the name of Black Lives Matter, a white crazy chick. Turns up every time I try to do her, she's blaring the interviews, whatever. There's a great big fantastic famous activist in this city. He's the most calm, peaceful, and the dude looks like he played middle linebacker for, you know, not the Redskins, for the 85 Bears. I mean, this guy's a beast. And Jesus loves you. He's great. She actually puts a megahorn right in his ear and his face. I says, and you're white in the name of Black Lives Matter? This dude's an African American, born and raised here. And you're, by the way, Jesus Christ. Now, there was an activist, right? Whoa. So, stop violating other people's freaking right to protest. That's the thing with the Million Mass March. People need to understand with the Million Mass March. We have a rule. Me and John Anthony invented the Million Mass March. You know what our rule is? I'll tell you what our rule is. We support all activists. All. We don't give a shit. We bring them all. We don't care what your message is. Some people says they supported the people, the non-mask. We support every movement. I mean, where do you think Black Lives Matter came from? That's where movements are born. Just because they don't support us, I don't care. We support them. I'll go right there and stand with my Bible. Upside down. It's ridiculous. So I'm going back old school. I'm tired. It's hardcore. Thank you, everybody, who's supported this historic work. You know, and the reason they haven't, I'll tell you the reason they haven't reported. That's CNN and Fox News looking down on the peasants. They could have reported this days ago. They reported in 2016, they reported in 2012 that night. Oh, they had it wrong. No, they didn't. They reported that Gore won. He won. They reported that Trump won. He won. They know. They've known this for a long time. television ratings have never been so high. We watched last night, and there was 10 minutes of programming on George Stephanopoulos. And by the way, he has Nate Silver. Nate Silver's the dumbest human being in he always has it wrong. Always. I mean, he's the guy that told you that the poll that had Wisconsin up by 17 was a good, legitimate poll. You think? How about he's the one that guaranteed that Collins would win? Nice. So, 10 minutes of we watch. I couldn't stand it. I had to turn it off. Over 8 minutes of the 10 minutes was corporate advertising. That's why they're making too much money. Ratings have never been so high. Stay tuned.